All right, we are in 1-5, locating points on a number line. Find point on a directed line segment between two given points that partitions the segment in a given ratio. So that's what we're doing today. So you're going to have terms like directed line segment. It has an initial endpoint and a terminal endpoint. So that is your first fill in the blank today. So hopefully you are there in your notes. Has an initial endpoint and a terminal endpoint. And those are the two most important parts that you're going to have to keep track of, okay? Where you're starting from and where you're ending at. Because if you don't keep track of where the initial part of your line segment is, you will actually get the wrong answer, even if you understand the concept. So let's look at the concept itself. So we're locating a point, a specific distance, so a third of the way along a line, a fourth of the way along the line. That's the concept we're looking at. So we're looking at find a coordinate that is AB, which is confusing, but think about 1/3 or 2/3 of the distance from C to D, okay? And here are the steps that you would do. All these steps are verbatim in your notes. I just copied them right into there. So you've got C and D on your line, and we've called them X1 and X2. So the first step is to find the distance between those. So we do normal distance, X2 minus X1. Always the endpoint minus the initial point. So let's look at our way that they wrote this. When they wrote this, find the coordinate of point that is AB of the distance from point C to point D. This one, remember we said initial and terminal? From and to. The from is going to be your initial, and this will be your terminal. Or, if those are confusing, this will be your beginning, and this will be your end, okay? So, begin and end, all right? So that gets to be your X1, and that gets to be your X2. X1, X2. Really keep track of that because it gets more confusing when they do something really jerky, like they do B and then A. And let me tell you what, they will do that, okay? That's jerky. I don't love to do that. I think it's mean, but it's going to happen to you guys. So be on alert. So calculate the differences. So that's the first step, is to find that difference, okay? Then find the distance away to that point. The fractional distance, you take that distance times the total distance. So what's 1/3 of the total distance, or 2/3 of that total distance? They're finding what is the distance from that beginning point, okay? And then we're going to add from point A, add that fractional bit, if that makes sense. So they're saying, how far are we going from there? And then let's add it to the first point. So we're going to try it. Okay. So here we go. Here's an example. You guys should have it down here too. We're going to try it. Find B on AC that is 1/4 of the distance from A to C. So A is our X1, this is our X2. And our equation was X1 plus, let's see, A over B, X2 minus X1. There we go. And AB is going to be our 1/4. There we go. So we've got all of our information. We should be able to plug this in pretty darn easy. So if our A is our x1, x2, plug it into that equation. I'm just going to grab it and pull it straight on down here. That should equal our point B. So x1 is -5 plus 1/4 of 7 minus -5. So -5 plus 1/4 of 7 plus 5, because negative minus a negative. So -5 plus 1/4 of 12. And all these are going to be equal to B. So we get -5 plus, and 1/4 of 12 is 3. And -5 plus 3 is -2. So here is where our B is. Right there, 1/4 of the way. And we can check that. So let's see, this is 1, 2, 3. Now let's count out in threes. 1, 2, 3. Let's put a barrier there. 1, 2, 3. Let's put a barrier there. 1, 2, 3. Is there 4 groupings? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, there's 4 groupings, and this is exactly 1/4 of the way along. You can actually double check your work by making a number line and counting it out, okay? So easy to see. All right. And there's the work done right there. So pause if you need to write any of that down. All right, and go ahead and pause and do practice 1. The answer to practice 1 is C. Hope you found that. If not, double check your work. Let's go on to example 2. All right. Julio is biking from his house to the library. His house is 8 blocks west of the school, and his library is 5 blocks east. If he stops to rest 1/3 of the distance from his house to the library, at what point does he stop? So they drew us this nice drawing, or they gave us this nice drawing. And we're going to use the equation. So let's see, his house right here would be, like, let's see, they went his house, biking from his house to the library. So house is x1. Just want to make sure that my initial was definitely the house. And what was our 1/3? Our A over B was 1/3. There we go. And as we're plugging into that equation, there it goes, right down below. So it would be at -4. That would be his rest stop right there at -4. Okay, so go ahead and try practice number 2. Pause me. All right, should have found 7.5. Let's go on to the next learn. Okay, now we're going to try this on the coordinate plane. Okay, you can calculate the coordinate of an intermediary point that partitions the directed line segment into a given ratio. It's a lot of big words. Coordinate, intermediary. I can't even say all those words at once. What we're going to do is we're going to do the same equation that we did, but we're going to do it twice because we have to do it for the x's and the y's, okay? Oh no, never mind, sorry. Not on the coordinate plane. My brain skipped ahead. We're going to do that on a different one. This is number line still. If C has coordinate x1 and D has coordinate x2, then a point P that partitions it in a ratio of m to n. Okay. Yes, we're going to see what partitions it into a specific ratio. So instead of a fractional distance, before we were doing 1/3, 2/3, 1/4. Now we're going to do a ratio of like 2 to 3. So for every, let's see, this side has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts on this side, and this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts. So this would be a 5 to 7 ratio. Okay? That's a little different. Whereas a fraction, this would have been written as 5/12. Okay? So we're going to see this. This is our equation that we want. Nx1 plus mx2 over m plus n. Now notice that m is on this side and n is on this side. See those little m and n. And here would be my m, here would be my n, my 5 and my 7. Okay, we're going to erase all my marks so you can see it very clearly. You have it on your sheet as well. Okay, I am going to grab this, copy it, and bring it down with me. And put it down into the practice here. All right, find B on AC such that the ratio of AB to BC is 3 to 4. Okay. So if I was writing this out, I would write this out. I would say this is 3 and this is 4. This is my x1. This is my x2. Okay? That the ratio of AB to BC is 3 to 4. Okay. All right. So it's going to be 3 times -5 plus 4 times 7 all over 3 plus 4. So that's going to be -15 plus 21 all over 7. It's going to be 6/7. So at almost 1, right about there, that's going to be where B is. Oh, I did it wrong. 1/7. -15. Oh, 20. 4 and 3. N plus M. I did them backwards. N to M. Look at that. Mrs. Cruz did it backwards. That's where we have to watch our equations. Hopefully you were yelling at me from the other side. 3 and 4. The funny thing is I actually did take 3 times. Oh, I actually wrote the whole thing out right. I just did my math all completely wrong. -20 plus 21. That means it's probably time for me to stop making videos for the day. 1/7. I apologize, guys. I should have just shown you this down here. 1/7. Right there. Good thing I've got something to double check my work. 1/7. There we go. It's located at 1/7. And we're going to erase this on here too. 1/7 right there. That's my B right there. There we go. Okay. So there's your practice. Go ahead and try that one. Go ahead and pause me. Okay, hopefully you found it as at -11. Okay. Now, Jorge is traveling 2,563 miles. How far has he traveled when he stops for gas? And let's see. Because they don't say like west or east, you start at 0 and you go to 2563. So that's interesting. Because there's no 5 like that. That's interesting. So 5 to 2. So 5 times 0 and 2 on the other side. Yep. All right. All right. So go ahead and do practice 4. Pause me there. All right, should have found 12 miles.